This is obviously an exciting time of the year. We say once January hits, it's baseball season with so much that happens in the preseason, and here we are in the February and got good weather, and so this is an exciting time for all of us. We just finished our 15th consecutive semester with a team GPA of a 3.0, and as coaches, it's always challenging. Everybody feels good right now about your team going into the season. So the older I get, I try to put the measurables in place as to what am I looking for. And it starts with what we do in the classroom and our commitment to our academics. We came off a good summer. We obviously got a lot of talented players returning, and they're working hard. I'm sure the players talked about big goals, and I challenged them. We can't be afraid to put it out there. I think there's power in saying that we're going to win a national championship. And so today's the day to do that. Today's the day to let the world know that's a goal of our program. That's what we believe in. That's what we see happening, and so that's why we're working so hard. We just asked our players to give us 3 team goals and 3 individual goals, and then we total them up, and then we post them in the locker room. We covered them yesterday, and yeah, the number one goal, that every player put down was to get to Omaha and win a national championship. So, for me, it's a constant reminder of the blessing I have being at a program where kids really believe it. They honestly believe it. The administration believes it. The fans believe it. I think the rest of the college baseball world believes it. And so I'm very thankful and appreciative that I'm part of a program where, we feel like we got a legitimate chance to win a national championship. The 3 individual goals that each kid puts down, and we total it, and how many put down All-American or All-ACC, and some put down numbers of low ERAs and high batting averages, and it's important for me to know what these kids are talking about. But the number one goal was to be a better teammate, was to help others, was to lead. And so as a coach who's looking for those measurables, what we're doing in the classroom, how hard we're working on the field, I was pleased to see that they know what it takes to win. They know the importance of being together and being a team and trying to help each other along this process. So I was really pleased when that was the most voted on topic of our goal sheet. And so here we are today. We haven't played a game yet. We haven't played against somebody in the other dugout other than those 2 scrimmages this fall. And so for me, I'm just going to keep pounding the same 3 messages I have been all year. It's 1, stick to the process. 2, let's just focus on getting 1% better every day. And then 3, finish. We want to be finishers. I mean, we want to finish in the classroom. We want to finish with our commitment. I know those that are of the Christian faith, that's something we challenge ourselves, man. We want to finish the walk that we've started and continue to do God's work. So I think in any area of your life, there's no better way to end it than with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to finish and do this right. So here we are, getting ready to start the 2019 season.
Open it up for you guys.
Dan, a pretty wide-ranging question, but I know you want a good balance, strong pitching, good every day, starting 8. What would you say that some of your top strengths are? It's really the core of the team.
Yeah, for me, it's a good feeling with our depth. At this time last year, we had lost so many players in that 17 draft and that Omaha team, and knew we were, a younger lineup last year and lacked a little experience. And I feel like we're more. You got to be careful when you say you're like the 17 team, because obviously what that team accomplished. But when I look at the age bracket of this team, it reminds me of the 17 team, that we're super talented in that junior class. We've got that good core senior group, which usually our senior group is small due to the draft. But we have that big, talented junior group. And then we've got a talented sophomore freshman group, which the freshman group got a lot of praise from their ranking as a top 3 or 4 ranked recruiting class in the country. So it reminds me of 17 when all these juniors were freshmen. And so I like our depth. I feel good about our older guys and giving them the nod and trusting they know how to play the game here. But I got plenty of young guys that are going to get to play. They're going to get some at-bats, and they're going to get on the mound. And so position player-wise, I feel really good about our depth. On the mound, there's a saying, you never have enough pitching, so we don't ever want to get too comfortable. And but I know Coach Williams and myself, we feel really good about the options we have on the mound. Weekend starters, midweek starter, who's going to come out of the bullpen, and then obviously we got options for who's going to close.
How set is that pitching lineup? What do you think of the weekend rotation?
I think there's 4 guys that put themselves in the discussion. Nick Bennett, Brian Hoeing, and you got the 2 sophomores, Reed Detmers and Bobby Miller. And so you got 1 senior, a junior, and 2 sophomores that got great experience, have had a lot of success at this level, and that's what makes Coach Williams the best is put those guys in a position to succeed. And what's interesting about probably the 2 righties is you could slide one of the righties to the back end of the bullpen. And we want to see Hoeing start, and Brian wants to start, but we also know he was really good out of the bullpen last year, really good numbers. If you look at his line from last year, Bobby Miller is super versatile, and with the pitch selection, obviously the talent. We saw Bobby as a weekend starter, had a really good freshman year, but and that's a compliment to both those guys because they're strong, they're durable, they're clean mechanically, they can bounce back, and so I think out of those 4 you got your weekend rotation and possibly a guy that could get some time on the back end and maybe experiment with as a closer, and then it's a long year, so it's always hard to think how the weekend season starts is the way it ends, but you never know.
Dan, the way last year ended, a couple of guys, Logan said, it kind of drove the guys in the off season. They want to be, there in Omaha, and when you're not, it kind of helps drive things. Did you see that this off season?
Yeah, we felt it was a lot like 2012. That was, last year was our 7th consecutive regional championship game, and the last time we didn't make a super regional was in 2012, and Arizona beat us up pretty good and went on to win the national championship. I told Garrett when we were walking out of that last press conference, I said, man, I feel like we're just walking out of the Arizona press conference. Like, Texas Tech put it on us pretty good, and they ended up making it to Omaha, and obviously had a great club. And so a lot of similarities to 12. After 12, of course, we went on that 5-year run of 5 straight super regionals and 3 trips to the College World Series. So that's what you hope. You hope that chip on their shoulder, that bitter pill taste in their mouth, the way last season ended, they knew they lost to a better team. So there was no excuse making in that. It just, as you said, you got to work harder. You got to get better. You got to get tougher. We got to make more plays. We got to have better at-bats. We got to make more pitches. So I think everybody collectively was of the mindset, let's be pissed off a little bit, and let's get back to the drawing board. Let's have a great summer, great fall, and hopefully a great spring.
Coach, you said you and the team set the goal of winning a national championship, and the national media seems to think that you guys have a legitimate shot with being ranked in the top 10 in so many polls. How much pressure is there on you to actually attain this goal?
Some people call it pressure. We call it opportunity. Like I said, I'm thankful. For me, it's a blessing. There's almost 300 Division I schools. I can't put a number on how many coaches or programs feel like they have a chance to win a national championship. I'm just awful glad I'm at one of them. That we are one of those schools that we're not afraid to talk about it. We do believe it in our hearts. You're sitting, in a room with Omaha pictures surrounding you. It's something that we shoot for, and it's fun. But as I said, I'll go back to the 3 staple phrases. When we play UConn, there'll be a shirt hanging in the dugout with the number 1 on it. Just we're trying to win number 1. So the goals are great, and regionals and super regionals and all these things you're trying to accomplish. But, you know, we've done a pretty good job in this program of, as we like to say, be where your feet are. Let's just focus on that first pitch, first inning, first out, and then let's get the second, and then let's play a good inning, and then, you know, we'll take it from there. We'll as I told the team yesterday, and I figured they talked about it, and I was going to talk about it, I would hope after today we probably don't say a whole lot about winning a national championship. I mean, it's fun to talk about it today. It's fun to put it out there to the world, but it's silly for us to keep talking about it. You know, like I said, let's put it to rest after today, and let's just focus on the 1% better, and we'll run out there, hopefully have a good practice.
We talked to you on after the first day of practice. Your message was kind of like, you know, we've got some work to do. Now that you've had a weekend of scrimmages, where do you feel like your team is right now?
Yeah, I'm thankful. You know, weather's been, knock on wood, pretty good, and we're competing. You know, it's 3 weekends of a preseason, so going into it, you still have a mindset as to where guys are, and because anybody can have a bad 3 weeks. I mean, any hitter can struggle for 7 or 8 scrimmages, and a pitcher has one bad outing in 3 weekends. His ERA is going to be shot. So it's just playing the game. You learn so much from playing the game. The things we do well, running the bases, taking the ball in the dirt, going first to third, and the things we are not doing well. That when they happen in a game, it allows you to teach a whole lot better than just in practice. And we take a lot of pride. You know, I met with Coach Snyder and Coach Vrabel, and I said, hey, I'm always reminded before the season, don't be afraid to play guys in these first 10 to 15 games. Don't try to go into the first weekend with this is the set lineup, these are the guys, it's in stone. That's not fair to the club. It's guys have won the right to start, and they'll run out there and start. But, you know, you got to play well, and you got to be consistent, and I got to give other guys opportunities, and let's be better 15 games from game 1 and 30 games from game 15. And I love learning from playing the game. Now, we still want to win. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to learn a lot in these first 10 to 15 games and really solidify, you know, where this team is at and where certain guys are at.
Dan, what about leadership with this group? You do have a couple of seniors in the mix, and you've got a lot of juniors that have played a lot of games.
Yeah, again, reminding me of 17, a lot of older players, a lot of experience. We say the front of the room has to lead the back of the room. The older guys all sit up front, and they started in the back, and then they got closer, and I look across here, and it's Hoeing, it's Pinkham, it's Romero, it's all the older guys, it's Bennett. They're all sitting up front, and so, you know, we feel like the culture, not just in the baseball program, got to give a lot of credit to our university, give a lot of credit to our athletic department. We pride ourselves on really pouring into these student athletes, and one area is we got to help them grow as leaders. We got to teach them how to be leaders. So I feel good. I mean, I don't have any worries about things that are going on, and knowing our coaching staff will do a great job and let these older guys lead and help these younger guys.
Coach, what were some of the lessons you think this team learned last season and what they can take into this year and maybe unique from some of the teams you've had the last few years?
Oh, you know, consistency is such a staple. I mean, that was one of our big words from even the players filling out their goal sheet. How many players? Young players don't know what it's like yet to be inconsistent because they've really never struggled. They dominated to get to this point. Older players, you can take the seniors, you can take the juniors, they go through moments of, man, struggling, not playing well, not trusting my swing, not trusting where the ball's going to go, doubting myself, and it's inevitable. Most players are going to be inconsistent when you get to college, and so, you know, it's just, you know, this group, how you handled those tough times, how you handled those slumps, how you handle the bad calls, how you handle the heartbreak loss, you know, just helps you grow and mature. And now when you lose on a walk-off, we pick ourselves back up. We come out tomorrow, hey, let's, you know, so what, now what? Let's control what we can control. We talk a lot about the controllables and the uncontrollables. So I just think that's maturity, that's toughness. We pounded home toughness last year with the younger group, and hopefully that pays off this year with this group.
One position to ask about, what about catcher? Where do you see that right now? And you've got a couple of guys that I guess you could use. Will you use more than one, obviously?
Yeah, we've always, traditionally, we've always used more than one catcher. I mean, I love to play two catchers, love to keep them fresh, keep them healthy, and then I always like to get that third guy in there because it's a lot of wear and tear on the body, and I just like preparing guys, and you could have an injury, and I don't want to ever take a step back, last year Romero was healthy and Zeke was behind coming off the knee injury. This year Zeke's healthy and Romero's behind coming off the arm injury. So, Zeke's that senior glue. You trust him. You know he's going to run out there and catch a good game and give you a chance to win. He's got some talented young guys behind him. This is a really, as the reason that freshman group was ranked so high. So, we got Henry Davis and Ben Metzinger, two freshman catchers that are good, that are competing. Man, these kids, they compete, they work hard. So we'll definitely catch two catchers that first weekend, maybe three. We'll see. But like I said, take these first 10 to 15 games and give these guys opportunities. And Zach Britton's a dual guy, can catch. He's coming off the sports hernia injury.